Hi, my name is Philip Shiabta and welcome to the Worship Vlog. So today we're going to be talking about how to pick worship songs. And this is how I practiced throughout the years of worship leading and what I found out to be a very effective way for me to prepare structurally for a service, or when somebody invites me to worship lead in their church, or when I do worship leading in my own church or in a worship night. First step is prayer. And this is such an important thing, and I cannot stress it enough that prayer is something that for me, honestly speaking, is something that I can't do longer than, for example, if I'm worshiping and playing music the whole time. But it's important for me to pray. It's important for me to find a place of meditation and to think and to ask the Lord about the context of the place. What do they want? Because you are going to be leading them to service and leading them to the presence of God or the throne of God. And for that, I feel like we have a responsibility to make sure that we are listening properly to what the Father wants us to do. So the second step is pick worship songs. I think this is something that a lot of friends and a lot of people ask me, like, what do you think about this song, or what do you think about that song from that church, because their theology is this and that. And true, I do understand the concern, but I think the most important and the most simple thing to ask yourself is, would I say that to God? Would I sing this? Would I ever say this? Would this really be something that is authentic, that really I would say? The third step is practice. Practice the key. Which key would actually be good for, in general, for the ladies and for the gentlemen in the service? Are they singable? And the fourth one is, again, pray. You prayed, you picked the songs, you practiced, and now it's on that day, and for some reason we forget also, hey, we gotta pray and we gotta trust the Lord in this too again. And this is so important for us to be grounded. Understand is that it's not by our works, but it's by His grace that we've been saved, and that we stand here leading a church or a congregation to His presence. And the last thing is prepare for battle. I think it's so interesting to read in the Bible that David himself, he set forth in the front line his worship team for the battle. This is a battle, this is a spiritual battle, and the front line is the worship and is the songs. And if it's the word of God, then it's the sword that will penetrate through the enemy. And I feel like the more the quality of that worship is, the more you're prepared, the more you practice, the more you prayed, the more the worship songs are really biblical, the more it will penetrate to the enemy's gate. And once you've penetrated through the enemy's gates, what happens then is the sermon gets in, the word of God gets into their hearts, and then the fellowship gets into their hearts, and prayer, and so much more after that. This is 5 steps that I use when I'm picking worship songs. If you have questions or you have something that you want to add, you can always comment below. But I encourage you guys just to think about it, to think about what you guys are doing right now, how you're worship leading, or how your church is worship leading, and see that. And I think that might be a fun thing to just look at and to figure out, oh, interesting that this worship leader chose these songs. And just for a bonus, I would say another cool thing to have is post-worship feedback. I think this is so cool to have friends and people who are close who would give you good feedback. Always strive for better, always strive for excellence, not for perfection, but for excellence. So I hope you guys like this worship vlog, and I hope to see you guys next week.